Hello and welcome to a Home Headquarters Orientation here in Syracuse, New York. I'm Tanya Froyo-Leonard, the originating mortgage manager, and this is...
Hi guys, I'm Latoya Allen, your Home Ownership Center Manager here at Home Headquarters.
We just want to welcome you and hope you receive as much information as you possibly can out of this orientation. So enjoy!
Welcome to our orientation here at Home Headquarters in Syracuse, New York. This is a orientation for our home buyer education program. If you're here and you're watching this video, then clearly you have had thoughts about owning your own home and you're ready to get the process started. So you're ready to get the process started and we are ready to help you guys. So first we want to congratulate you on just making the decision to want to become a homeowner. And then I want to congratulate you on putting yourself in a position to be educated enough in this process to make sure that you're successful. So first I want to tell you a little bit about Home Headquarters. So Home Headquarters was designed to make sure that the quality of life here in Syracuse is sustained. So here at Home Headquarters, we have a lot of different programs that we offer. We offer a mortgage and home improvement loans. So a lot of people come to Home Headquarters to obtain a mortgage to purchase their home. A lot of people come to Home Headquarters to get home improvement loans. So once you purchase that home, if there's something that you wanted to add onto your home, if you wanted to get a fence, or if something happens and you need new doors, new windows, Home Headquarters is that resource here in Central New York for people to come to get loans or grants to improve their homes. We also have CNY Affordable Realty and Opportunity Headquarters, which is our construction and apprentice crew. And of course, we have the Home Ownership Center, which is what you're taking part of at this moment. We work with all income levels in 5 counties around Syracuse: Onondaga, Cayuga, Cortland, Oswego, and Madison. So first, we'd like to start off with just telling you that there's going to be 3 easy steps in this process. So there's a lot of things that you have to do to get you to reach your home ownership goals, but we kind of broke it down to 3 steps that you're going to have to do. So first is this 60-minute orientation, and this is your first eye-opener to this process. And so within this orientation, we want you to be able to gauge if this is something that you want to do. So within this orientation, we don't give you all of the information about the home buying process, but we want to put you in a position to where you can decide if this is how you want to move forward. Next, there's going to be, if you decide to move forward, there's a 8-hour home buyer education course. So, and we'll get into details a little bit further in that, but you'll be able to take part of the 8-hour homebuyer education course that would literally help you decide if home ownership is right for you. It gives you an overview of the home buying process and lets you know whether you can afford to buy a home or not. The third process, or the third step, is going to be the one-on-one follow-up with a counselor, and that's when you'll retain your certificate. So your certificate is what allows you to be eligible to apply for the home buyer incentive. So a lot of people, they contact Home Headquarters because they heard about our down payment assistance or they heard about our closing cost assistance. So once you take the 8-hour course and then you follow up with your one-on-one counselor, you're going to sit down. They're literally going to go step by step over the entire process. They're going to go over your financial situation with you. They want to see what your goals are, and then they're going to help you achieve those goals. And so in that process, you'll have the opportunity to create a monthly budget. And in that monthly budget, you're literally going to sit there and go over all of your expenses and all of your income that you have. And then what you're going to do and what they're going to help you do is to see where you can start saving some money for your home. They're going to kind of teach you how to rebuild your credit if needed to. And how to make sure that you're in the best position to be able to get the best interest rate to purchase your house. All right, so first we're going to start off with just telling you a little bit about our home buyer education 8-hour course. So this course is offered in multiple ways. Of course, with COVID going on right now, we had to kind of change how we normally do things here. So typically you can take a in-person class. We offer It's a 4 2-hour session class. It's $50 per person or $75 a couple. Then we also have a Fast Track Saturday class. So the Fast Track Saturday class is you're there for a full 8 hours from 9 to 5. And we literally go through every part of the home buying process within that first day. Then we also have a online version. So the online version is ran by eHome America. That one is $100. And that's what we're offering at this moment because we are restricted with the in-house classes. So with the online version, of course, you'll go on, you log in, you pay the $100, and you have this course that you can take. You can do it at your own time, your own pace, and just take the class. Once you're done with the class, then you would contact our office and we would schedule you for your one-on-one appointment with your counselor for you to receive your certificate. At any time, our offices are open for phone calls or emails to be able to answer any of your questions. So if you're doing the online course and you have questions, just write everything down, and then that way when you go to have your one-on-one counseling visit, you can ask those questions. Our classes typically fill up really, really fast when we do them in person. A lot of people are in the home buying process right now, so they do fill up really fast. And typically for you to register for a class, you have to pay for it, and then that reserves your seat. With the online version, it's open to any and everybody, so there isn't a limitation, and you can take it immediately. And so you'll go and you'll see on the slide, it gives you the website, www.homehq.org. So now I'm just going to go over a few of the home buying mistakes that we see from different clients and that we want you to avoid. So, and the reason why we're giving you this information now during the orientation is so that you can make an informed decision on if you want to move forward and actually take the home buying course and then actually go through the process to purchase your home. So some of the common mistakes that we see that we want you to avoid, some of them are assuming that buying is always better than renting. That's going to be a personal decision. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's financial situation is different. So you have to decide amongst your family what's best for you. Do you want to rent or would you like to own a home? Buying more home than you can afford, you want to make sure that you can actually afford your monthly payment, but then everything else that comes along with your mortgage. And you never want to be in a situation where you're in way over your head. So your expenses are way more than what your income is. Then understanding the total cost of buying. So when most people think of their purchasing a house, they think of just one payment, this large lump sum payment that they get from the bank, and then they have to pay the bank a small portion, right? But there's going to be a lot of associated costs with your home buying purchase. So you want to make sure that you're saving extra money to make sure that you have money to pay other things besides just the mortgage. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit. Not being pre-approved for financing. You don't want to go out looking for a house. Say it's a situation where you go and you find this house and you just absolutely fall in love with it. And this house is $150,000 and you're like, you know what, I'm getting this house. This is my dream house. And then you go to the bank and you get pre-approved, but you're only pre-approved for $120,000. Now, like, you've gotten your hopes up, but technically you can't afford this house. So you want to make sure that you're pre-approved before you actually go house hunting, so that way you'll know realistically what you can afford, and in that way you'll be able to look at homes that are within your budget. And then another mistake is not shopping around. A lot of people, and that's just not for the physical house, but with everything, for your realtor or for your lender, you want to make sure that you're shopping around to make sure that you pick the best team that's going to support you, and you don't just jump on the first thing that comes because it sounds good. So make sure that you're doing your research in every aspect of this. Do your research and make sure that it's the best fit for you. And then one huge mistake that a lot of people make is waiving the home inspection. So you never want to waive the home inspection. The home inspection, they're going to point out important features of your new home. They'll be able to point out like major problems that are within this house. So you don't want to waive the inspection. So typically an inspection is about $250 to $400. So say you like, well, I don't really have the extra money. I'm going to waive it because I don't want to pay the $250. And then you go buy the house. And then now you're in the house for 6 months and you realize like, oh, there's a crack in the foundation. Now, if you would have gotten the home inspection, they probably would have saw that, right? And so that would have made you make a better decision on purchasing this particular home. But now you're already in the home, you realize there's a crack in the foundation. So now instead of you spending $250 on this home inspection, now you have to come out of your pocket with thousands of dollars to make this repair to protect your asset. So these are just a few of the home buying mistakes that we see here that people make, and we're here to help you. So we want to make sure that you're avoiding these mistakes. And for the most part, the only way to really avoid these type of mistakes is to be educated home buyers. And within this course, that's exactly what you're offered. You're offered the education to make sure that you're making an informed decision. So with that being said, I want to talk just briefly about housing counseling and why it actually works and how it works and how we know that it works. So, one, we know that it works because most of the clients that come back that come here for foreclosure prevention, meaning like they're already in their home and then now they're having some problems and their home is being threatened by foreclosure, right? The clients that are coming to us for foreclosure prevention are not clients that have taken this homebuyer education course. So that means they haven't had the education and the information that was available to them to help them avoid those pitfalls that have now concluded in foreclosure. So clients who complete standardized homebuyer education counseling typically have the opportunity to improve their credit scores. They're able to reduce debt and increase their savings, which you're going to want to improve your credit score when you're in this process, so that way you can get a better interest rate. You want to be able to reduce your debt and increase your savings so you have enough money to where you can put either a greater down payment down or you just have the funds available to make those different home repairs that we talked about, or to make sure that you're in a good position to where financially, if anything happens, you have the money to go ahead and take care of your asset. And then most of our clients that actually come through counseling, they have a more realistic idea about the true cost of home ownership. So they're not just going out there blind, just looking for a house and just saying like, oh, I like this house is pretty, it has a fence on it, I'm going to purchase this house, not knowing that they won't qualify for enough to even purchase that house. So in most cases, in this moment, you kind of you want to know where you are financially, and going through housing counseling, it puts you on point to where you know where you are financially. You know now what to do to get you to the point where you can actually purchase this house. And most of the clients that actually come here are 30% less likely to default on their mortgage. And that's because, like I said, they're educated enough to be able to know what to do, what not to do, and how to handle certain situations. And then they also have that counselor that they can always fall back on. So we have clients that have purchased their house 5-10 years ago, but they still reach out to counselors here and ask questions. So that way they know that they're making the right choices. And then also the clients that come through housing counseling are 2 times more likely to receive a loan modification. So we're making sure that the people that are coming in our doors are educated and informed, and so that way they make very intelligent decisions throughout this process. And they always have us to fall back on too. If they have any questions, they can reach our counselors at any time. Now I'm going to go into some pros and cons of home ownership. So with everything, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a cupcake. There's always going to be a pro and a con of either eating the cupcake, right? The cupcake may taste really good, but afterwards you may, if you eat too many cupcakes, you may gain some pounds. It's probably not the best choice for some people, right? So in home ownership, there's going to be pros and cons. There's good things about home ownership, and then there's not so good things. So I'm going to go over some of the pros for home ownership. So, of course, one of the biggest things for me personally was stability. So if you now become a homeowner, you now, like, it sounds cliche, but you really have a home. At the end of the day, like, you have a home, you have this safe place that you can return to that's yours. So you have the stability, you have the ability to build equity, and you can use equity as just like a savings account in most cases. The housing cost is now predictable. So if you're renting, then you don't own the space. So say your lease is coming up and your landlord tells you, okay, at the renewal of your lease, we're going to raise your rent $100, right? That might put you in a real bind, especially if you aren't budgeting and saving accordingly. But in this case, if you're owning your own home, in most cases, you're going to be you have a fixed rate. So the bank won't say, all right, well, you've been paying $400 for your mortgage all this time, but next month we're going to raise it to $500. So the costs are way more predictable. Then you don't have a landlord to answer to. It's more, you have privacy. So you don't have to worry about somebody coming into your house when you're at work or another person having a key unless you've given them that key. You have control over decisions related to your living environment. So if you have a 2-bedroom apartment and you wake up and you decide, you know what, I don't need a 2-bedroom anymore. I want to make this into a 1-bedroom apartment, and you go knock the wall out. Chances are your landlord is probably not going to be very excited about that, and you may have some sort of repercussions after the fact, right? But if you own your own home and you want to go knock a wall out, by all means, go ahead and do it. It's your home, as long as you can financially take care of it. And then also, you can avoid home inspections by landlords or other authorities if you're owning your own home. And then if you want to settle into one community or one school system, a lot of people, if you're renting, then in most cases it may not be permanent. But if you're looking to really settle down and gain that stability, then home ownership gives you that opportunity. So some cons of home ownership, maintenance and repairs. So if you're somebody like me and you are not handy at all, maintenance and repairs is definitely going to be a con for you. So that's something that you're going to have to take into consideration. If you're planning on owning a home, but you don't know how to fix things, you're just really not that handy around the house, then you want to make sure that you either have somebody that can help you with those repairs, or you're going to be able to have the money and the savings set aside. So that way, when something goes wrong, you can pay for anything to get fixed. That's one of the, I think my biggest downfalls being in a home is, like I said, I don't know how to fix anything. So I always have to have extra money because I know that something is going to have to be repaired and I'm going to have to call somebody and actually pay for them to do it. Or I can just go on YouTube and kind of get a do-it-yourself video, but I don't trust myself enough in that area. I know where my limits are. And then another con is your limited flexibility for relocation. So we live in Central New York, and we have very, very, very rough winters, right? So if it's January and it's -8 degrees outside and it's snowy and you wake up and you're like, you know what, I can't take this no more. Like, I'm moving, I'm leaving, I'm going to Florida. If you own your own home, that's going to be very tough for you to just pick up and leave. One, you would either have to have somebody occupy that space, or you're going to have to try to sell your home, and you can't just sell your home that quick. Another thing, no guarantees on the property value increasing. So it doesn't matter, how much you put into your house. If you want to redo your kitchen or you add on something in your home, you're going to spend a lot of money, but it's not a guarantee that the value of your house is going to increase. And then also, if you say, for instance, you buy a house and you only have one kid, so you only buy a 2-bedroom house, but then you have more children or you get married, you have a blended family, and now you have 6 kids in the house and a 2-bedroom, right? Like, you're going to have to think about your family growth and, like, relocation, and if was this a good choice, because now you need to move. So just that limited flexibility for relocation is definitely something to consider. So now we're going to go into what to know about the kind of like expected costs, right? So you got your upfront costs and then you have your ongoing costs. So these are two totally different things, even though they may sound similar. So your upfront costs, that's going to be for you to even get in the house. These are things that you have to have money set aside before you even step foot in the house. So one of them is going to be the down payment, and then of course the closing costs. So you want to make sure that you have enough money set aside of your own that you're able to put towards a down payment or your closing costs. Then you're going to have your escrows and your prepaid. So you're going to have to pay your property tax and your homeowner's insurance. And this is all before you even put a key in the door. So you want to make sure that you're saving enough money to where you have the funds available. And then you're going to have your reserve. Most lenders, they want to see several months of mortgage payments on deposit. So if your mortgage is going to be $500, then it's a safe bet that you have $1,500 set aside. So anything can happen, especially with everything that's going on now. Like, it's been proven that anything can happen at any moment. You can lose a job at any moment, no matter what level you are, like in your corporation. Even if you own your own business, there's still no safety in that, because even if you own your own business, you can go out of business very quickly. So you always want to make sure that you have enough to where in your reserves, if something happens, if you get sick, you lose your job, anything, you can have something to draw from to keep you afloat for a few months. Some of the ongoing costs, you're going to have your mortgage loan payment. And so your mortgage loan payment, you're going to make sure you take into consideration the principal, the interest, the taxes, and insurance. So it doesn't matter what else gets paid this month. If you own your home, this better get paid this month, because you do not want to fall behind. So if it comes down to it where you have to pay this, or say your son going on a skiing trip or a basketball trip, then guess what, son? You got to stay home with me this weekend because I need to pay my mortgage. Some more ongoing costs, utilities, including water. So most people that live in the city of Syracuse, your utilities are separate, your water is separate, your trash is included in your taxes. But in some other counties, all of these things are individual bills. So you just have to be aware of the municipality that you live in and be aware of what's due and when it's due every month. Because you don't want to, you're paying your mortgage every single month on time, but then you never pay your taxes. That's going to be an issue. So you want to make sure that you know when all of your housing bills are due, you know the amounts, and you can plan it out to where everything is paid and is paid on time. Another of our ongoing costs is going to be maintenance and repairs. So most people think of maintenance and repairs as like, oh, I walk in the house today and something just broke, so now I have to go make this huge expense. But you're going to use this as an ongoing cost because there's always going to be something that needs to be improved. And what I've learned plenty of times the hard way is you have to fix problems when they're small. If you don't fix them when they're small, then you just end up with huge problems that can sometimes unravel, and then it's really, really hard to fix them. So whether it's going in, if you're moving in and you nick a couple of walls, like, don't wait months and months and years to fix it. Just try to fix everything as it's happening. And then also you have to be aware, depending on where you move, if you're moving into like a development, you may have some homeowners association dues that you're going to have to pay. So you want to take that into consideration depending on where you're moving to. So now we're going to go to one of probably the most talked about things in the home buying process, your credit, right? And so what you need to figure out is, are you ready in that area? Are you ready, and how can you become ready? And I think when Tanya comes in, she'll talk a little bit about the credit score. But just for now, just to be able to kind of see where you are, you're going to want to make sure that you pull your annual credit report, and you can go on to www.annualcreditreport.com, and you're going to pull from all three to make sure that, one, you want to look at it and make sure that everything on there is actually you, right? And it's actually your bill. But you just want to make sure that you're constantly you look at your credit score, your credit report every year. Your credit is very fluid. So if you know that you opened up an account last year, then you want to make sure that you're checking that to see how that's been reported on your credit report. There's a lot of different websites out there. I know we have like Credit Karma. We have one other one, I think it's called like Hub Wallet or something like that. So there's certain apps that you can download on your phone if you trust them. Download the apps, and then that way you can kind of keep up with your credit score and see what's going on. You don't have to like certain things to get your free credit score, or your credit report rather. You don't have to pay for that. Like, you can get it for free. There are some servicers out there that are charging people to just pull their credit report, but you should definitely take advantage of this website. And during the class, there's literally an entire class segment about credit. And then once you get to with your housing counselor, you guys get to go more in depth, because they're going to pull it based off of you. It's no longer it's going to be like basic information. Like, it's literally going to be about you and your credit history. So we'll talk a little bit about what the lenders want, which is a really good, the credit report and the credit score conversation is a really good lead up into what the lenders want. So they're going to require a minimum credit score of 640 in most cases. And I'll leave that to our lending expert, Tanya, to kind of go in depth with that. And then a stable income. So they want to see a stable income of at least like 2 years. So not saying that you can't switch jobs within those 2 years, but they don't want to see that you were working at one job for 6 months and then you didn't work for like an entire year and then you started working for like 2 months. They want to see that you had a stable income for 2 years. Unemployment income doesn't count unless it's seasonal. So make sure that so some people, like, they feel like if they haven't been working, they got laid off or whatever, like sometimes they feel almost as if like it's taking the wind out of them and now they can't go and apply for a mortgage. They don't think that they'll be eligible. Then we have they're going to calculate your debt to income ratio, which I always have to write down, so make sure that I get it right. So your debt to income ratio is your minimum monthly payments for all your credit cards plus your loans, and then you divide that by your gross income. And so I'm going to ask when Tanya speaks that she talks a little bit about that, to talk you through that. And then, of course, they want to see your savings and reserves. So they want to see what you're bringing to the table. They want to see your history of putting money into the bank. They want to know if you're getting a check for $1,000 a week. Are you depositing the check and then you're withdrawing the entire $1,000? They want to see that you're actually saving money and you have some money saved up just in case something happens. You always want to get in the habit of saving money for one of those rainy days, right? So I'm the type of person where it doesn't matter what kind of car I have, I always have car troubles. And maybe I'm jinxing myself because I keep saying it, but it's absolutely true. So I know that I always have to have some money set aside for my car, because for some reason, like, these cars, they just follow me, bad cars, right? So unless I can get like a new car or something from this, right? So you want to make sure that you always have money set aside for something, if something is going to go wrong. And this is life and things happen, so things will go wrong. You just don't want to get caught out there. So now we're going to go over to how much you can afford. So even in the class, like, they're going to talk about like how to calculate how much house you can afford. But the thing is, really being honest with your spending habits. Because most people, they'll say like, oh, yeah, I get $36,000 a year or whatever. So, yeah, I can afford this house. But they don't take into consideration all of the $36,000 that goes out the window with everything else. So it's like, can you truly afford a house based off of that $36,000? So in the class, they're literally going to go over how much you can afford and to teach you how to get to that number. So on here, and you'll see on the slide, and you can follow along with what I'm saying. So here it says this person, and these are just examples. So this person earns $36,000 a year. So they have $3,000 a month. And so what they're saying is you can afford a house that would be 2.5 or 3 times what you make every year. So, for instance, if you make $36,000 a year, you'll times that by 3, and that's $108,000. So they're telling you typically you would be able to afford a home for $108,000. And then in Central New York, we typically go off of the 1% rule just to kind of gauge what your mortgage would be, right? And these are not specific answers. So if you're watching the video and you make $36,000, don't take this to the bank that Home Headquarters and LaToya told you that this is what you can get. So typically if it's at $108,000, and that 1% of that would be $1,080 a month. And so if you're thinking, right, and you're like, all right, I make $36,000 and the bank is telling me that I can pay $1,080 a month for my mortgage, but you know that right now you're struggling paying $800 a month for your rent, then you know that you wouldn't be able to afford this house for $108,000. So you're going to come down a little bit and find something in a lower price range. So next we're going to go into who you should have on your home buying team. And so you think about this, this is probably going to be the largest purchase that you'll make in your life, right? So you want to make sure that you're going into this like you're ready, like you have people on your team that are going to look out for you, that are going to help you make the best decision possible. So no one on your team is going to tell you exactly what to do, but they're going to give you suggestions and make sure that you're making the right choices. So first you want to have your homeowner specialist, and that's typically just us, right? Those are going to be your housing counselor that you're going to meet with here. They're going to go over the credit, budgeting, savings, and research with you. They'll also, when you get here and you do your first one-on-one, they're going to do a soft pull of your credit, and they're literally just going to walk you through your credit report. And then they're going to talk about your credit score. They're going to give you advice if you need to raise your credit score. So you want to make sure that in those meetings and those one-on-ones that you're being as honest as possible. And it's not really about like, you don't want to open up and tell people your business, right? You want to open up and tell your business to your financial counselor, because that's the only way that they can truly help you reach your goals. Next is going to be your lender. So this is just the bank that you're going to go through to get your mortgage, right? Then you have your realtor. So your realtor is going to be the person that's going to take you around and help you find a home. They're going to make an offer for you. But you have to be honest with your lender, your realtor, and tell them exactly what it is that you want. So you would create a wish list of your house, and you're like, I need 5 bedrooms, I need 2 bathrooms, I need a large backyard, I need a fence. And you tell your realtor this, and then they bring you back a house with 2 bedrooms, no backyard, no fence. Then clearly they weren't listening to you. So you either need to give them more instruction or maybe find another realtor. The other person, which we talked about earlier, is going to be the home inspector. So like I said earlier, the home inspector is going to check the structure and mechanical parts of the house or the property. They're going to do their due diligence to make sure that they point out all these different things that are wrong with the house, right? And so that way you'll know what's going on before you even decide to put that offer in to purchase the house. Then, of course, you're going to have your attorney. So your attorney is going to help you finalize the purchase agreement. They're going to help with the final walkthrough and closing. They'll settle disputes for you or review the terms of any documents. With this process, there's going to be a lot of paperwork. So you want to make sure that you have someone there that understands the paperwork, and then that can actually explain it to you so you know what you're signing. Like, in most cases, it'll almost feel like you're signing your life away, right? And so if you're doing that, then you want to know for sure what exactly it is that you're signing. So then we're gonna talk about 2 things, but I'm actually gonna have Tanya come, and she's our lending expert. Like, she knows everything about the lending process, right? So I'm gonna have her talk about the closing cost assistance program, and then she's going to go into the home headquarters mortgage and financing portion.
Hello, everyone. I am Tanya Freya Leonard. I am the mortgage originating manager here at Home Headquarters in Syracuse, New York. I'm going to go over some of our incentives here for our mortgage here at home headquarters. It is considered a conventional mortgage. A lot of people ask, is it FHA or any other special program? And it's unique to us. So I'm just going to go over some highlights of this program. We do offer our closing cost assistance program. Now, that is for anyone, okay? Anyone can come in and apply for the closing cost assistance, which consists of a loan of $4,000 over 5 years at 3%. Now, there are some instances where you may qualify for the deferred loan, which means there are no payments, but there are stipulations with that, okay? Most of them are income driven and where the property is being purchased. The Home Buyer Dream Program is a separate program that's offered by some of the local lenders where you have to be a first-time home buyer. It is income driven, but you could qualify for up to $14,500. That program is on a first-come, first-served basis. So please don't put all your apples into that cart hoping that you'll get it. You will not be able to obtain those funds until you've already found a home, put in your purchase offer, got it accepted, and have been approved by your lender. Then they can go ahead and ask for those funds to be distributed to you. Some of our first mortgage financing requirements that are actually very unique to the area is the fact that we don't require any private mortgage insurance. And that's usually required on any loan where you do not put 20% down, which also increases the amount that you pay on a monthly basis, as well as reduce the amount that you can actually qualify for based on whatever loan that you're obtaining that has mortgage insurance. We only require 2% down on any purchase. So that's a pretty decent savings when you look at it as a full picture. Most programs require anywhere from 3 all the way up to 20, depending on the program you're looking at. So it's either 3% down as a minimum on some of the lenders, all the way up to a minimum of 20% or a maximum of 20% down. Okay? We do also have flexible credit underwriting. And what that simply means is that based on your current situation, we may be able to look at it a little bit differently than other lenders do. Our down payment closing cost assistance that is currently with this program, we're waiting for the new funding, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I'm just going to briefly discuss it, okay? If the funding comes through, we will have up to $5,000 that will be able to assist anybody who's buying in the 5 surrounding counties. Those counties consist of Onondaga, Oneida, Cayuga, Oswego, and Madison. Your income cannot exceed 120% of the area median. Okay, so that's based on family size. That's something you can call and ask, and I'll be more than happy to let you know whether you qualify or not. And these funds are only for our mortgage specifically. They can't be attached to any other lender's mortgage that are out there. The requirement is that you live in the home for 10 years, and then there's no payback. If you leave prior to, there will be a payback. Some of the additional resources that you can have is using your team here at home headquarters, okay? One of the biggest things that I want to stress is, like LaToya said, use your counselor. That is what they are there for. They are going to help you so that you understand everything that you're doing. Now, when you go into a bank to get pre-qualified, they're going to look at your income and your assets, okay? And they're most likely going to max qualify you for a mortgage. One of the first things I always ask my clients, what do you know you can afford on a monthly basis that includes your taxes and insurance? And the reason why I ask that is because what I can qualify you for and what you can afford can be 2 totally different things. For example, in my case, I could go in and the bank could tell me I could qualify for $200,000, okay? I have 4 kids. There is no way on this planet I can afford that much. When one plays travel hockey and travel baseball, one dances competitively, and I have 2 little ones that are currently getting involved. So there's no way. So when I say sit down and figure out what you can afford on a monthly basis, that is your best gauge to know what you can afford. Now, in my instance, I will tell you what you can go up to, but I'm going to tell you where your comfort zone is. Then if you decide to go outside your comfort zone, that is up to you. It's not me saying, here's this big plate of cookies, eat them all, because that might not be your best choice, okay? The Syracuse Financial Empowerment Center is free one-on-one counseling located here in Syracuse. It will help anybody in the area work through their credit, take care of things that are on there and not knowing how to take care of them. Take advantage of the Empowerment Center, okay? We do have, they are affiliated with us. We do have people through us that we can refer you to help get you set up with working with somebody from the Syracuse Financial Empowerment Center. So once you have completed your orientation and you've taken your home buyer's education, you're going to use the information that you were provided in these classes to help make your decision on purchasing a home. You're going to want to compare apples to apples. You don't want to compare a conventional loan to an FHA loan. They are two different loans, okay? Two different requirements. You're going to want to make sure that you've sat down and done your budget. You're going to want to make sure that you know what you can afford. As LaToya said, write down everything you spend, because what you actually spend, what you think you spend and what you actually spend are two totally different things. Stopping to get a coffee here and there, going out to lunch, those add up, and that can affect you being able to make your payments. The whole goal of our course is to make sure you completely understand what you're doing, so you're not having buyer's remorse, okay? And you also don't want to buy to the point where you went to your max and now you're going to work to come home to sit and stare at the same four walls. It's not fun. So trust me when I tell you to purchase within your means. And if for some reason what we are telling you, any lender is telling you that you can qualify for, and you can't find anything that suits your needs, maybe it's time to take a step back and say, okay, what can I pay off or how much can I save so that I can get to there? It's not telling you no, but it's just restructuring things so that you can get to that goal of the house that you absolutely want, okay? Don't forget to look at your annual credit report just to see what's on there, okay? Your counselors will do a soft pull and go over things with you, but it's always good to know ahead of time before you come in. Make sure, I said, you're keeping track of your budget and filling out those sheets. Stay in touch with your counselor, and if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to any one of us here at Home Headquarters to help you with your purchase.
So thank you for tuning in to this orientation video provided by Home Headquarters here in Syracuse, New York. I'm LaToya Allen.
And I'm Tanya Froyo-Leonard.
If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We are here to be a resource to you. You can give us a call at 315-474-1939, or you can go on to our website, and that's just homehq.org. And then also you can email us at info@homehq.org. So if you have any questions after reviewing this orientation, please feel free to reach out to us.